How's it going, everyone?
Hey, everybody.
Hi there.
All right.
Afternoon.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
Morning, guys.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry about yesterday. But this is going to be really cool today, I promise.
We'll try to make it cool.
Yeah, Sally's here. All right.
Hi, everyone.
Is Emily here?
Not yet. Looks like she's still trying to join.
Okay. Probably my fault. Let me see what I'm doing here.
No worries. Let me ping her really quick.
Well, I just got to let her in because I've got it set up that everybody that joins, I've got to admit. But I'm blocking my admission part. So
Dennis, if you give me co-host, I could do that for you.
thank you. There you go. All right. And Brady, I'm going to ask you to co-host Emily and Sally also so that they can control their presentation. So, all right. So
Who did you say it was?
it's Sally Triesall. I think it's on the Zoom, Triesalo. And Emily may not be on yet.
I actually can't co-host them. I think you have to.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay. All right, Sally, you're co-host now, so you should be able to control the presentation. Here's Emily. Okay,
Perfect.
and I'll make Emily the co-host also. Let me. This is like building a plane when you're flying. Hold on a second here.
That's what entrepreneurship is.
I think so. Okay, so I've made Emily co-host also.
Great.
Hey, Emily. Okay.
Hi.
All right.
Hi,
So
everyone.
I'm gonna. Sally's here. Yep. We're gonna get started. So everybody, I want you to meet Emily and Sally. They are with Amazon Explore, which is a new division or unit within Amazon that is, from my perspective, focused on live streaming with experiences and e-commerce through live streaming. And I'm sure they'll have a better explanation. I've been working with them for about 2 months or so, trying to figure out how we can bring this technology to our companies in our area. So I'm semi-qualified, the best way I would put it. But Emily and Sally, just so you know, in here is around today, I think around 15 or 16 entrepreneurs and companies from around North Carolina. We even have one man from the DC area. So they're all different kinds of businesses. We have quite a few farms, quite a few retail, other technology businesses. But I think particularly for the farmers, many of them have expressed a desire to pursue agritourism or figure out a way to get people to come to their farm or their various facilities and show people various things that they can do on the farm. So I think what we're going to talk about today may lend itself to that as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Emily and Sally from Amazon, and I'm going to mute myself unless I have to say something.
Great. Thank you so much, Dennis, for the introduction. Sally and I are super happy to be here. So to start, I'm going to share my screen, and I would love, let's see if, just give me 1 second to make sure I can share.
Emily is a big minor league baseball fan too. Everyone should know that about her. So
that is true.
We connected on that reality as well. So
that's right.
Okay.
All right. Can I get a quick confirmation that everybody can see my screen? Okay,
Yep.
great. And I'm going to try to figure out how to hide that so it's not visible to everybody. All righty. So we're going to just jump right in. So as Dennis said, Amazon Explore is a public facing program. We are very new though, so we just launched at the end of September. So some of the topics that we might discuss today or any questions we get about forward-looking features or things that we might be doing might still be confidential. So we just ask for your kind of discretion and not sharing any of the confidential information. So that's for the not so fun stuff. So to just jump right in, we're so excited to be here. Really, we're building something from the ground up, and we're looking for entrepreneurs with a story to tell and businesses that have a story behind them to connect directly with customers. And so when Dennis allowed us this opportunity, we were just thrilled to be able to come in and speak to you all and hopefully answer any questions that you have on Explore as we go through this presentation. So here's a little bit of an agenda of what we're going to talk about today. To start, Sally and I can just introduce ourselves, and then we'll kind of go through the rest of this. But want to be clear, like this is meant to be informal, so I'll pause, but it might be easier to take questions at the end. But if there are any questions, Sally, if you don't mind maybe monitoring the chat or letting me know if anybody raises a hand, happy to stop and answer questions as we go. But my name is Emily Lisner. I am a senior business development manager here at Amazon Explore. I've been at Amazon for over 5.5 years, working on a couple different businesses, and really kind of the story of the businesses that I choose to work on with Amazon are those that are sort of an entrepreneurship startup culture within Amazon. And so Amazon Explore, you know, what drew me to Amazon Explore is it's a new business. It's working to connect customers directly with small businesses all over the world. And I just thought that was a super cool and meaningful way to kind of shop with Amazon. And so my role within Explore is specifically around small businesses. So how can we bring on businesses, like I said, that have a story to tell? And then once these businesses launch with Amazon Explore, how can I make sure that they're set up for success? So what are we doing to market them? How am I constantly feeding their feedback back to our different teams, whether it's technical feedback, whether it's product feedback, so that we're constantly sort of building a roadmap that works for small businesses. So I will pass it to Sally to quickly introduce herself, and then we'll go through the rest of the presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Emily. Hi, everyone. My name is Sally True, and I'm the account manager on the Amazon Explore team, specifically supporting the shopping vertical. So I work with Emily very closely. And my main role here is to help you guys through the Amazon Explore onboarding process, helping you guys get set up, and then also helping with your experience launch. So I look forward to working with you all.
Great. Thanks, Sally. Okay, so we are going to test some audio here. So here's a video that I want to play. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear it. So I'm going to turn it all the way up and press play.
Hey, Emily, it's very, very low. Is there any way we can, I don't know, make it a little bit louder?
I think the volume is all up. Sally, do you mind putting the link to the video in the chat maybe, and then we can just do a couple minutes where everybody can watch on their own?
Yeah, let me try to get that. Can you send me the video link by chance?
I can, but you know what? How about we go through the rest of these intro slides, and then as we're doing that, Sally, if you could try to dig it up, otherwise I can follow up with it just so we're not interrupting the flow here. But I will get that video link. Okay,
I think
great.
I got it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will, I'll pause for a second and see if Sally can get that video link.
There we go.
Yay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
everybody, it's a 2-minute video. If you don't mind just kind of watching with your own sound, I think that will be better, and then we'll regroup in just 2 minutes.
The world out there is now a little closer. Introducing a new service that takes you across the globe in an instant. Welcome to Amazon Explore.
Hello, my name is Kiki. I'm your host today.
Hi, Kitty.
Welcome to my store in Mississippi.
Thank you. So I'm looking for a new scarf.
Ooh, I've got great ideas. Come with me.
I'm just excited to see where Grandpa grew up.
Oh, you're from Mexico City. That's great.
We want to surprise Mom for her birthday.
She's a lucky lady. Are you ready to make some sushi?
Yeah.
Learn from a local expert.
There's a shiny side and a little rough side.
This one's not shiny.
Okay, you saw the difference. Okay, then put the rough side up.
Shop for something special.
How about something like this?
This is exactly my style. A little bit more down to the right. Yeah. How much is that?
It's $26.50 before shipping and tax.
Can I see the
All right, how are we doing on time? Did it wrap up for everybody?
experience?
Almost done.
Unforgettable.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, Emily, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you for confirming, and sorry for the audio issues on my end. But as you all kind of got to see in the video, Amazon Explore is a live streaming service that allows customers to do a lot from the comfort of home. And so you saw a couple of different examples, whether it's learning, whether it's shopping, which is kind of what the vertical that Sally and I support, or if it's kind of language learning and discovering a new location. We offer a ton of different experiences all over the globe. And so from a business perspective, the question is sort of why do something like this? And so we are all about kind of virtually connecting customers to different experiences all over the world. And from a business perspective, allowing you as an entrepreneur to extend your customer reach. And so right now, our customer base is all in the US. And so as we kind of talk about how this will work in setting your availability, we just like to mention that this is serving US customers today. But they can experience things from all over the world in different countries. So these experiences are all one-on-one. And so what does that mean? It means that you as the host, and maybe you're hosting the experience, maybe it's your co-founder, maybe it's an associate that works for you. So when we say host, we mean the person from the business that is hosting the experience connects directly with the customer. And so the customer will be able to see you as the host. You will not be able to see the customer, and you communicate through two-way audio. So you can talk, and we'll talk about all of the different features we have to sort of deepen the connection and make it easy to shop throughout the experience. You're going to be able to list your experience on our marketplace. And so we get the question, I launch an experience, how do customers find it? And so we have a homepage and we can send out links to everything. But if you go to amazon.com/explore, that's really kind of our home base for where these experiences live. And we have a marketing team that's really dedicated towards bringing these experiences to the forefront. We also are going to be launching a small business store. And so think about that as a way for customers to sort of double click and see small businesses, see the story behind them. So maybe it's kind of using a photo of the founders and a little blurb that explains kind of the vision or the mission statement behind the business, so that before they're booking an experience or as they're looking to discover, they can really feel connected to the story behind the business. We'll talk a little bit more about how we support shopping, but the interesting thing for Explore, and as you saw in the video, you're able to easily take photos of items you want to sell. You enter in a couple of identifiers to help get basically this page populated for the customer, but you don't have to sell any of these items on existing e-commerce sites. So for example, if you're selling clothing and you're not selling it anywhere besides your physical boutique, that is perfectly okay. You don't have to have any e-commerce listings. All of this is happening in real time. And it's as easy as taking a photo of what you want to sell, adding in a couple of pieces of information, and then Amazon does the rest. And so want to spend some time talking about why Amazon. I know Dennis mentioned, maybe Amazon is new for some or for all of you in terms of kind of expanding your business. And one thing we really want to highlight is the customer obsession piece. And so as a company that is customer obsessed, and we're striving to remove barriers to deliver delightful experiences, Amazon Explore really lends itself to that. Like, we are about bringing customers delightful experiences and adding this kind of surprise and delight for customers to be able to feel immersed and connected to businesses through the comfort of home. And so I wanted to read this quote that was in the Washington Post from October. It says, Amazon Explore provides a flexible opportunity for small businesses. Shop owners, guides, teachers, chefs, stylists, artists, and artisans will get access to millions of customers on Amazon while setting their own prices and hours. And so we'll talk about kind of what this means and how you as a business owner and entrepreneur would run this on Explore. But I think this kind of touches on a lot. Is we are all about kind of flexibility on your side to make sure that we're bringing customers these unique experiences. I wanted to also include some stats from about supporting small businesses. This might not be all too surprising for some of you, but these data points were interesting and kind of point to what we're building here, where we're trying to highlight small businesses and build a space that works for them within Amazon. So 75% of buyers prefer to buy from brands that personalize the purchase experience. That's the first one. And 66% of customers say shopping technologies and innovations improve their experience. So in terms of personalization, it doesn't get more personal than a one-on-one experience where you can also customize or personalize even the products themselves that you want to sell. So for many small businesses that we've spoken to, maybe they do monogramming, maybe they do one-of-a-kind pieces where each is either made for a customer or it's a unique one-time kind of vintage item, and once it's sold. And so for a lot of small businesses, sometimes the traditional sort of e-commerce way of selling doesn't always fit perfectly. And so in addition to helping you sell on Explore, we are also Sally and I and our team more than happy to make introductions or answer questions. And if we can't answer, connect you with the right teams within Amazon if you're interested in selling kind of more broadly within Amazon. So how does it work? So we touched on a couple of these key points about how Amazon Explore works. And I'll talk in a second about what kind of equipment is needed. But one thing I wanted to focus on here is that A to Z guarantee. So I'm sure, and I don't want to make assumptions, but a lot of us have bought things as a customer from Amazon. And over time, customers have become really trusting of the Amazon kind of customer service, payment, and shipping model behind Amazon. And so one thing that's really nice here is we actually take on all of the customer service and all of the processing. So, say an item that you sell to a customer gets damaged. It can happen, you're shipping it comes damaged. The customer can call Amazon customer service and get their questions answered, and we can help deal with that problem so they're not contacting you directly. And so there's sort of this built-in trust model with Amazon customers shopping through Explore. In terms of onboarding, so Amazon Explore is unique in the sense that we have a dedicated account management team, and really that's Sally and myself, and I think Dennis can attest to this, that is really here to make sure that your onboarding is as easy as possible. And so Sally will send you basically step-by-step instructions of exactly what you have to do and when. We are happy to always jump on a phone call, send screenshots, get on whatever kind of makes this process as easy as possible for you all to get you set up on Amazon. And so, you know, your first couple of steps are really sort of that admin side, you know, setting up an account, getting your gear purchased, which I'll talk about in a minute, taking some trainings. And then we actually internally have a team of coaches that will take your experience and give you feedback. And then we have a group of internal Amazon customers, or sorry, internal Amazon employees that will take your experience and give you feedback. And then it goes into the public customer base to take your experience. So through this sort of robust and hands-on training, our hope is that you feel supported. You don't feel like, you know, you're lost in this sea of you know, other businesses that are fighting for attention. Like, we really have the resources to make sure that you're supported through onboarding and that this is not overwhelming to you. So wanted to make sure that we covered that. So what do you need to run an experience? So there are 3 pieces of gear that you need to run an experience. You're going to need a Samsung phone. You're going to need a gimbal, which is essentially a selfie stick. And what that does is it holds the phone. So as you're walking around, whether it's your farm, whether it's a studio, a manufacturing site, the customer just sees kind of a clear and smooth video, and that there's no sort of jerking of the camera. So it helps to stabilize the phone. And then you're going to need a headset with a microphone. And so we are leaning in, and we will subsidize the gear costs for you. So at the end of the day, the 3 items total will cost you out of pocket $150. So say you order these all on Amazon and it costs $1,000, you'll save your receipts. We will reimburse you quickly. And at the end of the day, it will only be $150 total. I will also mention here that if you can launch an experience with us in 30 days, and that 30-day clock doesn't start from today, we will communicate with you when, after you kind of do some of this admin stuff, when that clock starts. But if you can launch an experience in 30 days, we'll actually give you $1,000. And the goal of that $1,000 is, one, that will over and beyond cover this 150, but it's also to thank you for kind of jumping in early days with us and giving us your time and your commitment to running an experience. And we know that, you know, you're a lot of times small businesses, it's 1 to 2 founders. Your time is split between a lot of different business priorities. And so we want to recognize that and realize that we're early days too. We're going to be learning with you. And so we will give you that $1,000 if you can launch an experience within 30 days.
Hey, Emily, I just want
Yeah.
to make one point here.
Sure.
And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But in this example, this Samsung smartphone that's being discussed here is actually, it's a specialized
That's
product
right.
in that it is not like a cell phone that you might have. So it's kind of cool. It's got an IoT chip in it. So it's designed just for this program. It basically only does this program. So it's not, even though it is a Samsung smartphone, that's where the comparison ends. I just want to make that point.
No, that's a great point, because we get asked a lot, you know, I already have a Samsung phone, can I use my phone? And the answer is no. For what Dennis pointed out, we also cover all data and processing fees. So for a lot of you that might be in a more kind of remote location or on a farm where connectivity can, one, be hard to come by, and it might be expensive, we're covering all of that. So it's actually a really good segue, Dennis, for me to mention too. We have our own tech team and tech support. So if we find that your router or connectivity is just, you know, hard, and we need to kind of get on a call with our tech support to figure it out, we can do that. You know, we're running these experiences all over the globe, and Costa Rica and places in Latin America where connectivity can be difficult. So we figured it out, and we are committed to working with you to make sure that connectivity is strong. So yeah, thank you, Dennis, for mentioning that. So the opportunity and a couple of features. Oops, looks like somebody's waiting to get in. to mention that you might have noticed from the video, so two things that make Explore unique that we wanted to touch on. One is in-session content. And so I'll have a slide on this next that kind of shows this in more detail, but using multimedia, so whether it's a video clip, whether it's a text box, whether it's an image, can really help elevate your experience. So say you're talking about something that's either kind of, the customer can't see right then and there on the video, maybe it's something historical, you want to show what the farm looked like before, certain buildings were built, or, you want to show, something that seasonally only happens and you're doing the experience in the winter and you want to show a photo. All of that is possible through Explore. And so the customer can see that on their side, and it's as simple as you sort of clicking a button to show the customer that clip or that photo. And for shopping, we already spent some time talking about that. But the interesting thing here is that customers, as they go through the experience, can point and click. And that can not only help you decide, maybe they're debating between two pieces of jewelry. Sometimes that's actually really hard to describe over video. But if they could point and click, and then on your screen, it shows you where the customer is pointing, it can kind of help you hone in and eventually be able to kind of decide what they want to buy. Or maybe you're walking around a certain area and they want to click to an area that they want to see more of. It really helps to kind of deepen that personalization throughout the experience. So let's look at an example, if my screen would go, okay, of in-session content. And so this is a really good example where you can see that, the customer in this case was doing a historical tour. Obviously, the tour guide in real time can't necessarily show what a building looked like hundreds of years ago. But by layering on a photo, it can help deepen that experience. So the customer, debatably, even if they were there in person, couldn't get that level of immersion. And so, like I said, you can do that with photos, video, audio clip, or text boxes to help immerse the customer further into your experience. So from your perspective, why do this, I think is the question. And it really goes back to this sort of one-on-one deep connection that you can start to form with customers. Also for small businesses, the ability to sort of set your own availability and run this in a way that works for you is another benefit. So you can share, your brand and what you love doing in a way that might not be as cumbersome as others in terms of maybe you're not ready to list all of your products on Amazon, or you want to sort of step into it and see what it's like, or have these one-on-one experience with customers to sort of dip your toes into Amazon. All of those are sort of reasons why we think Amazon Explore makes a lot of sense for small businesses and for entrepreneurs. So another couple of things that we haven't talked about yet. So for the no catalog setup, I kind of discussed this at a high level, but wanted to make sure that we spent some time here because I know this might be of interest to this group, is that you don't have to have any of your products set up online. So if this is your first time ever selling through an e-commerce means of e-commerce, great. You don't have to have any listings. So all the purchases are conducted on the spot through the Amazon Explore experience. There will be a couple of kind of prohibited product categories for us right now, and I can get into the details on that, but we have some workarounds. And so, for example, food products can be a little bit difficult for us to sell through Amazon Explore. We are actively working with our team to be able to do that. But in the meantime, we can get creative in ways to link to your product. So there's really kind of nothing off the table here, but did want to call out that there are some product categories that for now, and like I said, it's a priority for us to get this unblocked as soon as possible, but not a blocker at all for you to start working with us and start the onboarding process. From a customer perspective, wanted to point out these customers that are booking experiences with you have a high purchase intent. I don't think that really is surprising in the sense that they are, one, giving their time. So say your session is a half hour, they're giving a half hour of their time and they're paying for the experience. So if you want to charge $10 for 30 minutes, these customers are coming with the intention of, learning and most likely purchasing. we can't necessarily guarantee, obviously, that a customer is going to buy something. Just like, if you have a physical customer that's coming into your store, some of them might be curiously browsing, but in general, this is different in the sense that this customer is really kind of going out of their way and self-selecting to sign up for these experiences. So they have a high purchase intent, and we're finding that they're building large basket sizes. So on average, over $100 worth of products is purchased in each of these experiences. Of course, that's an average. That doesn't happen every time, but we continue to see deep kind of engagement with wanting to buy through these experiences. So wanted to include some quotes from customers and then from different small businesses that we're working with. So I'll just go ahead and read this customer review. This was for a tour. So it wasn't for a shopping experience, but we continue to see anecdotes like this come up. So our tour guide, Monica, was full of personality and information. I took the tour on a Friday night Eastern time and had so much fun. The botanical gardens were beautiful, but Monica made it feel like I was going through it with a friend. So what we continue to hear from our customers is that at the end of this experience, they feel like they got to know their host. They feel like they were almost kind of shopping or learning from a friend or someone, that they walked into a store and just kind of got lost in conversation. We actually have a small business that's selling boots. And we found that one of our customers had such a great relationship with this host that he went on to buy hundreds of dollars worth of boots and then booked another session the next week to buy more gifts, and cited that his relationship with the host, or how connected he felt and how great this host did at making him feel welcome and talk him through kind of the purchase decision, made him want to book again. So really kind of the secret sauce and the delight of these experiences comes from you all, comes from the host, and the storytelling behind the product. So wanted to also include a couple of quotes from sellers on Amazon Explore. So the first is Libby McWright. She is a founder of Mississippi-based boutique Libby's Story. She now has 3 Amazon Explore experiences live with us today. And so in Libby's own words, she said, "I have built my business on being unique and helping my customers express themselves through dressing creatively. Now, with the help of Amazon Explore and its talented team, I can share my love for fashion and creative styling with so many amazing people that I would never have reached before." And so again, Libby had built up a strong kind of and loyal customer base locally in Mississippi, but through Explore has been able to kind of do this across the US and in her own words, kind of reach customers that she wouldn't have been able to reach before. So the next is from a chef and cookbook author, Jess McGovern. So I'm going to go ahead and read her quote. So we're beyond excited to be hosting baking experiences on Amazon Explore. Connecting with people all across the states, from kids in big cities to grandparents out at the lake house, has been so fun. And being able to introduce my city and passion for dessert. My city and passion for desserts to thousands of new customers is a dream come true. Rather than passively watching a video or reading a recipe, I get to pop up in people's kitchens where customers can either watch and ask questions or bake along with me. With travel and physical movement restricted for so many, this feels like the kind of human touch and support for small businesses that is so needed right now. So Jess is based in Montreal. And so for her, being able to obviously connect with customers all over the US in a very sort of intimate one-on-one way has been really meaningful for her and her business. So I will go back to this question screen in one moment, but I did want to leave this up for a second here. And we can, I'm sure Dennis or myself can send an email with this email address so you don't have to jot it down, or if you miss it, we can get this to you. But if you are interested in becoming a seller, or if you have questions that are better suited for one-on-one, or if you want to set up a follow-up call for yourself and Sally and I, we are more than happy to do that. And so explore-shopping@amazon.com goes to our team, Sally, myself, and 2 other members of our team. And so we will get back to you very, very quickly, but we wanted to make sure that we gave you a direct email address to be able to reach out to. And so with that, I guess I can go ahead and stop sharing, and then we can take questions.
Hey, Emily, this is Joe here from Booze Dogs. First of all, good presentation, and I apologize if I missed this, but I don't think I realized where you were going with this presentation until too late, and I probably missed what you said in the beginning. But can you walk me through? Can you take a step back and walk me through the customer journey
Yeah,
related
absolutely.
to how they interact, and then from
Sure.
a small business owner's perspective, are these like pre-recorded experience sessions? Are we on the hook to be at the beck and call of anyone who wants to explore our brand at the time? Are these like scheduled slots? Like, how does this functionally
Yeah.
work?
Sure. Let me go ahead and share my screen. That's a great question. I am going to share my screen so we can look at what one of these experiences actually looks like right now on Amazon. And then I can kind of walk through what that journey looks like. So let
Emily
me,
and Sally, I just have to say that Joe has a most amazing product that I've run across in a long time. It's a a hot dog or a hamburger with booze in it.
oh
So
my gosh.
I'll just leave it. It's perfect for baseball, Emily. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't get much better than that for a baseball game. Anyway.
No, you certainly cannot. Well, thank you for that. And I have to say, every time Dennis talks about any of your businesses, his passion and selling for your businesses is just so evident. So that's awesome. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an example of a page. This is one of our small businesses. Their company is called Rear Ends. So Rear Ends is a family-owned business. They've been in business for 43 years, I believe, and have remained family-owned in Michigan for the full 43 years. And so they are one of our newest experiences. So I'll go ahead and make this bigger, and please ignore my Whole Foods order cart. I don't know how to minimize that. So now everybody knows I'm ordering avocados. So anyways, a customer would land on this
Such a
page.
millennial, such a millennial. I
Yeah,
can't stand it.
I'm
Jeez.
really feeding into that stereotype. But the customer, so imagine that maybe they got an email or they saw this on the Amazon homepage and they're like, this is interesting. They land on this page and basically they can read about the experience. So it talks about here, take the guesswork out of shopping. Ariana is the host. She sells jeans. And casual wear, and so you can kind of go through her photos, and as a customer you're like, okay, I can visualize the store. I can see that she sells jeans, but there's also a lot more there if I'm more interested in sweaters or blouses or whatever it might be. She includes some verbiage here that tells the sizes of the products, so 0 to 12. She talks about that the average price of jeans is $165 and free shipping if you spend 100. So off the bat, the customer kind of has some information about the store. So then the customer can actually see, all right, her experience is $10 and it's a 30-minute session. And so this is where Ariana, that's our host Ariana, on the back end has said, these are the times I'm available. So she's already preloaded on her side, her availability. So I can see right now that if you'll notice, today is the 23rd and the next experience time I can book is 2 days from now on the 25th. So customers are only able to book 2 days out. And what that does is, one, it gives you, a heads up. So you're not getting an email, oh, somebody's booked an experience with you in 20 minutes and you're scrambling to get started. It's not the way that works. You're setting all of your own availability. So then I'll go ahead and pick a time. So February 25th at 8 a.m. sounds great. We also do a Pacific and an Eastern time to make it easy for customer to see. And then I would go ahead if I wanted to and book my session. Before I do that, let's walk through a couple of other things on what we call the detail page, and that's this page that tells more about the business. So here, we will ask you all for a picture of yourselves as a host or your team. You have the ability to kind of include more about your business here. So this kind of tells the story that I mentioned. And then you can see what you can do in the session. And so these features we talked about throughout the presentation. You can make a purchase. Customers can take a photo of the session. So say they're being walked around the farm or they want to take a picture of the product. They can actually, through the experience, take a photo. They can speak with locals, or in your case, maybe it's, you have other people that are working in your business and the customer might want to say hi. So the host can turn on their external speakers so the customer can engage. And then we talked about this with the point and click. So the customer can sort of click around and indicate what they're interested in to make it easier to sort of customize that tour. And so we add all this for you. This is not something that you have to add to your page. The area that we really ask for your support is obviously the photos will come from you, and then the description on your experience. But we have a marketing and a design team that can help with this. So, you might send over a draft and then we might go back and forth with a couple of recommendations. And then, yeah, that sort of describes, I think, how this works. I'll go back to our experience storefront for a minute. So this is our homepage. Think of it as that. And I'll zoom out so you can see a little bit more as I scroll. But customers can come here, and this is constantly changing. We have featured experiences that one week, might be look like this, and the next week can change. So we're constantly sort of keeping that updated. Customers can browse by categories, so learning and creativity, personal shopping, culture and landmarks. They can look by region. And then there's new experiences. So as you launch with us, you'll sort of get these, what we call like flywheel drivers to sort of kickstart the visibility. So you're not getting buried. And then we'll also have, like I said, that small business store that will launch. It's not currently live, but we also have, ways that customers can browse here. They can look at it by region. So say I want to look at Canada. This will take me to all the experiences in Canada. And then I can look by star reviews. I can look by duration. So if I know, I'm looking for something with my kids, I want to show them Costa Rica on a weekend, and I want it to be under 30 minutes. That will show me what's available there.
So
I'm hoping we get a category of Eastern North Carolina added to that.
That's right. I mean, we did talk about if we have experiences, and I think the small business storefront is a great place for that. Like, let's do a takeover, or let's have a shoveler on our page, and a shoveler looks like this. Let me go back, where we can actually have a bunch of experiences. Why can't I go back here? So maybe it says like Discover North Carolina. And then we have 5 or 6 experiences here, and customers can sort of sort that way. So
I like
ton
it.
of possibility from a marketing perspective.
So Emily, these sessions though, they're pre-scheduled, and that's helpful. That's one piece that was missing. So a couple questions on that. So are these one-on-one, or are you able to do sort of like a classroom sort of format where maybe 3 or 4 scheduled at the same time?
Great question. So today it's all one-on-one. So we will say, like, sometimes, a family might all be at the same computer. But in general, it's one account. So one customer with the host. And that's why we did have that confidentiality notice at the front for questions like this. We are thinking about one-to-many. And I can say that to this group. I think eventually it makes sense to have customers be able to maybe take an experience with family or friends from all over the country. If they want to all gather and take an experience together. That's not possible today, but that's definitely something that we're kind of thinking about as a team. But for now, it's all one-to-one.
So then so you're not only earning revenue for your product, assuming they buy, but also for your time. You're billing them for your time too.
That's right. That's right. So for example, today, Rear Ends, the one that we just walked through, they're charging $10 for 30 minutes. We are, as Amazon Explorer, something that we want to try is if the customer goes on to buy something, so say they pay $10 to meet with you, and then they buy $100 worth of product. We're testing right now what would it look like if we reimburse them the $10? So, you buy $100 worth of stuff, we're going to take that $10 off. Your total is now 90 because you already paid the 10 to book today. And we as Amazon Explore will reimburse you for that. The reason is, we want to make the barrier to entry low for customers. We don't want them to say like, oh, I don't know, this sounds really interesting, but I don't really want to pay $10. Even if I know I'm going to buy something, that still doesn't feel great. But however, if they don't end up buying something from you all, you still gave 30 minutes of your time. It was still an experience for them. And so the expectation is that they would still pay the $10 or whatever price you choose to set for your experience.
All right,
Yeah, I'd
last
like to-
question.
Go ahead, Joe. I just want to make one statement, Joe, and you can go ahead. One thing to keep in mind with this program that I think is really unbelievable is you can sell to somebody who then uses their Amazon account to buy from you. And you're not listing your products in an Amazon website or an Amazon program. It's literally like they're just buying in the open using their Amazon account. And that's one of the issues with the one-on-one because you are dealing with an individual's Amazon account. At least initially, the thinking was, correct me if I'm wrong, Emily, but the thinking was that these people are going to be paying using their Amazon account, and that's more complex to do if you have a large group, for example. So it really is like a customer wandering into your store, your farm, and you interacting with them and them buying from you in that interaction. Only in this case, they're using their Amazon account. So there's no registration. There's none of the typical barrier to making a sale to this person. They're actually going to use their Amazon account to do the transaction. Am I right on that, Emily?
Yeah, you are right. I think one of the pieces about one to many, that's actually kind of the complicated part for us to figure out is, there is precedent if you were doing a tour and you were seeing something in Italy and there were 10 other people on the line with you doing that, that actually mimics what you do in the real world. A lot of times you're taking a tour with multiple people. Shopping is different. And so we need to figure out, I might be really patient if my sister is checking out or asking questions about a product. I might not have that same patience level as a customer if I'm paying for this experience with 20 other people and I don't have time to talk to the founder or I don't have time to get my questions answered. And so that's kind of the unique customer journey part that we need to figure out is what is that experience and how can we keep that delight the same level while also having maybe more than one person do it at the same time. So just to be candid, like that's something as a team that we're trying to figure out right now. I think the payments piece, Amazon, we're using all of Amazon's kind of back end technology for that. But the customer journey part, we still need to put some thought behind how that will work.
Yeah, Danielle Baker raised her hand. Joe, I'm
Yep,
sorry.
I
We'll
see.
get back to you, I promise.
Hey, I'm sorry, I came in late, so you may have already answered this question, but what is the cost on our end for this?
That's a great question. So we talked a little bit about the cost for the gear. So after we reimburse you, your out-of-pocket cost for gear is $150. But we talked about how if you launch an experience within 30 days, we will actually give you $1,000. So you will make back your $150 plus, call it $850 if you launch an experience in 30 days. In terms of what we take, so when you set up your experience, so say you charge $10 for your experience and then you go on to sell $100 worth of product, today we're taking nothing. So you will keep 100% of what you make in your experience. You will keep 100% of that $10. We're not taking anything. We can guarantee that at least until July. In July, what we will likely start doing, and none of this is confirmed yet, is probably take $5. So say you charge $10, and we will likely take $5 of that $10 session. And that's just to cover our own costs because we are covering all of the data and processing for all of this on the phone itself. So the connectivity and data. So that's kind of the cost structure that we're looking at. There will be no surprises. So when we're ready to charge that $5, like we'll let you know. It's not going to just be sprung on you one day. But we're, like I said, we're really early days here. So we're trying to kind of lean in and learn. So at least through July, you're going to be keeping 100%, and that at that point it will likely be $5.
Okay, Joe, go ahead with your last question.
Well, it was just about, is this all assuming seller fulfilled? And then Lastly, if you can speak on those of us who may be e-commerce only and not a brick and mortar or a
Yeah.
farm or what have you.
Great question. So yes, all of this is merchant fulfilled, meaning that after the customer places their order with you, you will go ahead and just mail that product directly to the customer. And so you'll have a shipping label and all that information you need on your Seller Central account to actually fulfill the order to the customer. For those of you that are e-commerce based, you don't have to have a brick and mortar store to make this
The
work,
world
but
out
you
there is now a
Oh.
little closer.
Would somebody mind muting their, I love the enthusiasm for the video, but let's just mute that for a second. So to answer your question on the physical store, so you actually don't need a physical store, but you do need some sort of physical location. So for example, we're working with artisans that are making products out of their home. And so we're working with them to find a room in their home to do these experiences in. So if we need to get creative together, you know, maybe you tell us I need a sign or I need some sort of something in my office to like make it look more like a store or kind of raise the bar on aesthetics, like we'll work with you. But having a physical brick and mortar store is not required. We just need some sort of physical location to host the experience in.
How does the shipping work with, like, say you got Amazon Prime, people are expecting it
Yep.
within 2 days. Do we fall under them categories if we were to go with this?
It's a great question, Chris. Actually, a customer's Prime account doesn't really map to how they're getting their product through Amazon Explorer. So we hear you. Like as a Prime customer myself, I think I would, you know, we have certain expectations of how quickly products get to us or if things are Prime eligible. But in this case, the customer is actually paying for shipping, and it doesn't necessarily follow Prime shipping patterns. So it could take a week to get there. I mean, we'll work with you. We want to get it to the customer as quickly as possible for the best price. But our customers, there is a precedent that they will be paying for shipping because a lot of these products are being shipped from all over the globe. Like I bought, you know, a tea set from Japan that took about 7 or 8 days to get to me. And I think I paid, you know, the equivalent of maybe $15 or so for shipping to get it to my home. And so we have found from customers that maybe that ask comes up, but in general, it's not a blocker from shopping. They understand that these are coming from, you know, small businesses, they're coming from all over the world. And so they might ask you in the session, you know, oh, I'm getting this for a gift. When can it arrive? And you can always do your best to kind of estimate shipping windows based on what you know. But we make it very clear on the detail page, as you saw the one that I showed, it said free shipping over $100. That's something that the seller is doing themselves. So she knows my break even, if somebody spends over $100, I can afford to do free shipping. But anything under that, I can't, and it's going to be X price. So that's something that you can kind of work on logistically, and we're happy to connect and share best practices there, but we make it very clear to customers they're paying for it.
Yeah, I think also it's important for everyone in the class to think about this. This is somewhat experimental, right? This is new. This is not something that is old hat, you know, well established. So frankly, you know, if we get involved, our companies get involved, we're in a position to hopefully learn and figure out what really makes sense, whether it's shipping, whether it's, you know, one to many, all of these things that Emily's been talking about. I want to emphasize that this is really early days.
Yes.
You know, if you think about e-commerce, if you even go back to, you know, the late 90s when I first started buying from Amazon, you know, Amazon is kind of e-commerce to a lot of people. That's what it means. You know, you go through this catalog and it, you know, every page kind of looks the same. This is really different. This looks different. It acts different. It's more in keeping with, and I've had this conversation with many of you that are frustrated that you can't take your on-premise expertise and experience and transfer that to e-commerce. Many of you have told me that that's the biggest frustration that you've had with the pandemic and with doing business. Well, here is a tool, a process, an opportunity to really redefine how you do business. And this is, you know, potentially globally. Of course, we're talking about US customers at this moment, but notice if you go through their page, there are experiences all over the world. And So you're actually in position by participating in this program, and this is my incentive to you all, is you are actually getting in on the ground floor of a new way of doing e-commerce that's experience-based, that has your personal engagement, personality, involvement, skill, your unique product, services. That's what this is all about. And really, as Emily explained, it's essentially doesn't cost you any money. I'll go out and say that. You might even make some money if you get the experience within 30 days. But it's not, that's not the barrier to this at all. The barrier is you deciding that you want to try something that's really different than anything you've ever done before. And our team at Accelerate Rural and we're here to help you figure this out, because we really believe it will help you grow at a pace that you've not been able to achieve with some of the limitations of the pandemic and other things that you've dealt with. So that's why I wanted Emily and Sally to be among the first of our guest hosts for this session, just so you all can be kind of exposed to this and also to have the resources. I can help with questions to some degree, but I can also connect you with Sally and Emily should you want to pursue it in more detail.
This is Tom. I have a question regarding, can you give us any idea of like how many, let's say, suppliers you have on the platform now? And then how many users are actively kind of seeking those types of experiences on a daily or weekly basis?
Yeah, great question, Tom. So not surprisingly, but I can't share a ton about customer data in terms of users. But what I can tell you is in the shopping vertical itself that Sally and I support, we actually have less than 10 businesses on board today. And that's not because the popularity isn't there or that, small businesses aren't interested. It's frankly, our team is brand new. So the way that this program spun up originally was kind of what you're seeing a lot of on our pages, which is these sort of historical tours. Think about it more as a traditional kind of tour experiences. The shopping component is actually fairly new. So that's why we have, a handful of experiences today. And we are just like, I think our growth is going to be quite exponential over the next couple of months in terms of just like count of small businesses and businesses being added. But I think that actually serves itself really well for exactly kind of what Dennis said, is like, you're coming in early days with us. You're helping to define a new product at Amazon, a brand new kind of way of shopping for customers. And for doing so, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to make sure that kind of your voice is heard with the way that we're building this out. And so some kind of specific things we're doing there is if you launch an experience and if you're open to giving me a half hour of your time every 2 weeks, we'll get on the phone call every 2 weeks. You, Tom, me, and Sally, for example, we'll ask you, what are your pain points? What are customers saying in the session that we might not, maybe it's an idea you have, maybe it's something that you wish would be true. And we actually are cataloging all of that feedback and then going back to our team and building around it. So I think it's a really great time as an entrepreneur to also kind of be joining hands with a program that is almost a startup in and of itself of figuring this out. And that's why if you go on our pages and you go under personal shopping, you might not see all that many, but what a time to kind of come in as a shopping experience or whatever kind of experience you want to build with Explore and be kind of first to market in a lot of ways with your experience.
Sure. Thank you.
I'd like to point out also particularly for the farms and the people who have expressed interest in agritourism. Some of you have not done that yet, or you're not sure exactly what you want to do. But here is an opportunity to do that, right? To do an agritourism, to do something related that isn't necessarily the same as just selling a product that you grow or make. So that's another way to make revenue as a small business is kind of combining this tour aspect with purchasing. That's unique. That's an opportunity, I think, to set the bar, help Amazon figure this out, and it'll help you figure it out. And the combination will result in, I think, acceleration for your business through this process.
Hey, I have a quick question, Emily. My name is Paige. Hey, so I'm one of the farmers actually. And one of the things that I have done on our social media platforms is from time to time, like I will do videos where I'm just cooking in the kitchen. And typically like whenever I do videos, I've noticed like people will go and buy what I was making in the kitchen. And I am not a professional chef by any means. But I really think that people resonate with the fact that we are a small farm and like, the whole story for sure is there. But I think one thing I was just trying to get a better understanding of is when we're trying to encourage people to, I guess, book an experience with us, that platform lives within the Amazon portal. So we would direct that traffic there. Would there be like a landing page on our website that would say like, hey, I'm going to be doing, an event, you can register, Like, for example, if I was going to, I don't know, show people how to cut up a chicken or something.
Yeah.
Would that live like on our website and then to direct to Amazon? I think I'm just trying to get an understanding. I'm going to mute myself now.
I think that's a great question. Let me go ahead and show you an example of how one of our other small businesses is doing this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I think this will be helpful to see. So I'm going to again use the Rear Ends example. This is their website, so shoprearends.com. They actually, and they did this all on their own. We don't require this because we are also driving traffic to your experience, but they added a tab that says Amazon Explore on their website. If you click it, you can read that they're, big news. We're offering virtual experiences through Amazon Explore during this interactive session. She kind of explains what it is. And then when she links to Amazon Explore, that goes to her product page, the one that we walked through before where customers could book. And so when we launched, this was last week, she put this on Facebook, on Instagram, on her own social channels, and obviously on her website. And she does her own virtual shopping too, where she handles appointments. And what we're hearing from her is, this Amazon Explore makes it easy because we handle all the booking in terms of her scheduling. She's uploading her availability probably a month, 2 weeks to a month in advance. But you can do that whenever you want to. But the example, let me stop sharing there. But Paige, it's a really good question because if you already have the demand on your side or customers that are interested, you can certainly use your social channels, your website to link to your Amazon Explore page. And like I said, we don't require that, but we do have co-marketing guidelines that we can send you all in terms of like, here are the kind of images we recommend. Here's how we speak about Amazon Explore. And so, the more traffic, the merrier. If you want to drive traffic to your experiences with your own audience, that's fantastic. And we can help you do that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. And definitely you answered the questions that I had. I'm really interested in this. I sent you guys a message already. I think this could just be fun.
Yeah.
In terms of trying to figure out channeling traffic and and I'll talk more in detail about that whenever I have a one-on-one with you guys, but this
perfect
is to me.
Awesome. We look forward to it. Thanks, Paige. We'll get back to you.
All right. Any other questions, observations, thoughts? We've gone over our normal time, but why let that stop us, right? So I do have a hard stop in about 15 minutes, but if anybody has questions or thoughts at this point, lay it on me.
I do have one.
Okay.
So
hey, Zach.
Yeah, my name's
Zach.
Zach. My wife and I have a chocolate shop up here in Asheville. And one thing we were looking at doing before the pandemic was teaching chocolate making classes, whether it be dipping truffles or fruit or something like that. Obviously the pandemic sort of put a postponement on that.
Yeah.
But with this sort of thing, one thing I was thinking that you could do, just say like someone wanted to learn how to like dip strawberries or something like that. So my thought was if when they booked the experience, that is that able to like trigger them purchasing like a little chocolate temper and some chocolate that would then get shipped to them, so that when their experience came up, just say a week later, that way they'd have the stuff they needed to go through that experience.
That's an amazing question, Zach. And the answer is we do have what we call experience, almost like companion kits. So in other words, before you take this experience, here are some items that, to your point, like whether you need to cook or whether it's a jewelry class and you need some beads or whatever it is. So we can work with you on that. If you're the interesting piece will be, and I think we can bring in our operations team, like you can fulfill that directly to the customer, but we're going to need some kind of built-in time. So if they book their experience 2 days before, we need to make sure they get that product to them within 2 days. So send us an email and we can kind of connect with you and figure out how to make it work. But I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
Great.
And Emily, I also wanted to add one more thing. Sorry, Zach. I just wanted to add one more thing too, that even if you don't have the time to, ship out the experience companion kits, there's also what we call on your detail page, a pre-session content page. And this is where the customer can decide if they wanted to join you along with that chocolate making experience or strawberry dipping experience. You can just list out, hey, this is all the ingredients that you'll need. Maybe here are the tools, the ingredients, and you can let them choose to follow along and cook with you or just watch you and learn from you.
Great point, Sally.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I think Zach also, and this applies to everybody. This is somewhat experimental, right? So we may try lots of different things over time to see what the sweet spot is for your particular business and your clientele. So none of us have real hard and fast answers. We just have ideas at this point. So
That's right.
any other questions or thoughts from anybody involved? Okay. Well, Emily and Sally, you have been the hit for today, I can assure you. It's really been fantastic and every bit as exciting as I knew it would be. And so I thank you very much. And I certainly will be in touch. And I have a feeling quite a few folks in the class will be as well. And we actually have some other audiences that are interested in this as well that I'm involved with. So we'll be talking about that as well. So thank you for your time and attention and for doing this really cool new way to do e-commerce.
Absolutely. We just wanted to thank you, Dennis, too. In your spare time, if you'd like to come pitch Amazon Explore, you said it better in times than we could, and for having us as part of this class presentation today. So thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for joining and for being so engaged and asking such great questions. I hope to hear from many of you. So just send us an email, even if you're still on the fence or if there are very kind of product specific questions you have, more than happy to set up a call. And yeah, thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Post that link again with y'all's email address on it.
Yeah, I'll get it to you, Chris. I got it.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, see y'all
Thanks,
later.
everybody. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.